You either work on your own dreams or you spend a lifetime working on someone else's. And when I first heard that quote, it completely changed the way I thought about earning an income. Because for the longest time, I worked a full-time engineering job for 12 years, 40 to 50 hours per week. And I started there as an apprentice and worked my way up that corporate ladder and eventually became a manager of the CADCAM department. And I thought every time I climbed that ladder, I'd be more happy. But what happened was I just got more responsibility. It tied me down more. It made me stressed. It made me start to resent and hate the job. And that's when I realized that that is not the life that I want to live. I do not want to be retiring at the age of 70 years old with not much health left and not be in a position where I can actually enjoy the day-to-day life. So I started learning 5 years ago how to build online businesses, how to generate income online. And since then, it's completely changed my life. 2 years ago, I was fortunate enough to have made enough money to replace my salary. And then I went full-time as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. And since then, I've managed to build a few different businesses. And now I get to live life every day doing whatever the hell I want. It's Wednesday today, and I'm just out with a dog enjoying this lovely weather, which is not something that I was able to do before because I'd be working all the time. I wouldn't even see the daylight because our office at the engineering factory didn't have any windows. So it was extremely depressing. The only bit of daylight I got was in the mornings, driving home from work and also lunch breaks sitting in my car. And the reason I'm saying this is because I think a lot of people are going through this exact life right now. They're struggling, they're not sure what they want to do with their life. They perhaps hate their job. Maybe they don't earn much money. And this video, I want to talk about how it doesn't have to be like that. You can replace your salary by learning high income skills. This is exactly what I did 5 years ago. I started to learn how to build these businesses. So one of my businesses that I started with was an e-commerce store, and I was selling pet products. So we bought these products from China, we branded them, got them all made and specially designed, and then we sold them in the UK. So you buy cheap from China and then you sell for a profit in the UK or wherever you live, America, Europe. But the idea is we can set up websites. I use Shopify, and then we can advertise in the country that we're targeting. And that was my first business. So that took me a few years to get to the point where I was comfortable enough to replace my salary and to go all in and risk quitting my job. And I'm glad I did, because ever since I've quit my job, now I've got an extra 40 hours, 50 hours if you include all the commuting and sitting in traffic every day. I've got an extra 50 hours per week to put into the things that I want to do. And this is why I was able to build other businesses, because I had all that free time. But I want to make it clear that this is not easy to do, because we must utilize every ounce of spare time that we have available. Because if you are working a full-time job, the biggest excuse I hear all the time is I don't have time. I work full-time, I don't have time when I get home. I've got to feed the kids, I've got to put the kids to bed, I've got to cook dinners, I've got to, do all the chores, all the day-to-day run-ins of life. And people let decades slip by without taking action on their goals, on their dreams. So what I used to do was I used to wake up early in the morning and I used to do some of the bits that I could do before work. I used to print orders off in my lunch break using the printer in the office. And then when I got home, that gave me enough time to pack them and send them out to the customers. And then after that, I would spend the evening working on new things, learning new skills, educating myself, reading books, listening to podcasts, signing up to mentorships and courses, because that's a vital part of this journey. You need to learn from people who are in a position that you want to be. And as a result, it might not seem like a lot, but if you can put in a few hours every single evening, that compounds over the course of weeks, months, and years. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a long time to do, but we should all be working towards escaping the life that we hate, because there's huge opportunities that exist online now. There's never been a better time to start your own thing. You can build a business based on your passions, your hobbies, your experience, your skills. You can build a business on anything nowadays, especially with the internet, social media. Now we have AI, of course, and it's never been this easy to do it. Back in the day, the businesses that you would have had to start would have been completely different to what they are now. One of my businesses that I run is a personal brand, and I have a community where I show people how they can escape the 9 to 5. And this is what I call personal branding and selling digital products. So this is a great opportunity because this means you don't have to invest much money. You don't really have to take a big risk. You can leverage the social media platforms to create content and to build a personal brand. The idea of doing this is we want to get people to know, like, and trust us. And if we can show people that we can solve their problems, then we can create a digital product that provides some sort of transformation. This is a great way for people to get into business that don't have a lot of capital, but they do have a phone, they do have social media, but you're just leveraging it how it should be used and not for entertainment. The biggest mistake that you can make is when you get home from work. You whack the TV on, you put Netflix on, and then you sit there scrolling on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And I know this because I was guilty of this for many, many years. It would almost be a distraction from the life that I was living. And that eats into all your free time massively. So that is something that you do not want to do. You want to be aware, if you have that habit, you want to try and switch that out to something more productive. So switch it out to reading some books, listening to podcasts, again, watching education-based YouTube videos, learning some skills. And then once you've got those skills, once you understand the different business models, so for example, I have a free community, and inside that free community, you can learn about the business models that I've used to build multiple businesses now, members that are building businesses as well. And this is all free. And you can learn how to do this in your spare time and then start applying these skills and practicing to build your own business. And again, if you can put in a few hours a night, you will get to the point in the near future where you're making enough money that you can take that jump and go full time into your dream business. And then you get to live every single day doing whatever you want. And this is what I call a lifestyle business. I want to build a business around my lifestyle. I don't want to create another 9 to 5 for myself. I don't want to be having to do work that I don't want to do. And that's what you don't need to do anymore. But the people who say they don't have time, I think it's important to really take a look at what you're doing with your free time. Yes, I appreciate that some people have families and some people have responsibilities that are not that easy to not do, but there's still time left in the day that you can optimize towards your future. I think as humans, it's really easy for us to only think in weeks and months, but we want to be thinking in five-year time horizons. We want to be thinking, what can I aim towards for the next 5-10 years? Because if you can think like that, then you know the work that you do today is the result of where you end up in 5 years' time. And this is what I started to realize after many, many years, because it might take you a year to get to the point where you can quit your job, maybe 2 years. But it doesn't matter, because once you've got your mindset on the end goal, life gets better, because then you realize you're working towards something. For me, when I was at my engineering job, it got to the point where I just felt lost. I felt like I was just going in every day and just going through the motions, sitting in traffic, getting to work, doing the same thing every single day, speaking to the same people, always trying to hit the same targets or making the same mistakes, as the boss would say. And it was just mundane. It was just boring. I didn't feel like it was challenging. I felt like I hit my ceiling. And when you get to that point, there's two options. You can either apply for a job somewhere else and continue to climb that corporate ladder, or you can realize that you need to work on your own dreams, on your own business. And that's what I decided to do, because I refused to go back to a 9 to 5 to get a traditional job. It wasn't for me. I'm not built for the 9 to 5. I'm built to be an entrepreneur, to work off my own back. And this brings me so much fulfillment. And now I get to do stuff like this, create content and help other people, motivate other people to think bigger than their current job, their current situation. Because if you're in a bad situation right now, just know that it gets better, but you have to apply yourself. You have to put in this work. And again, it doesn't come easy, so you have to be obsessed with it. That's why they call it the 1%, because the 99% aren't willing to do the work. But if you are willing to do the work, you can have an incredible life. You can have financial freedom, location freedom, as much flexibility as you want. You don't need to ask your boss for permission to have a holiday. You can do what you want every day, like I said. And that, to me, it's not about chasing materialistic objects. It's not about owning a supercar, Lamborghinis and Ferraris. It's about doing things that you want to do every day. It's about spending time with loved ones, your friends, your family, your dogs, animals. It's about waking up without an alarm clock and deciding what you want to do that day. That is true freedom. If you can get to that level, which by the way is not actually that difficult because all you need to do is replace your income. If you can get to that level, you've got an extra 40 hours a week to do as you please. And by that point, you probably love the business so much that you would actually want to work on it even more. And this is what happened to me. And I started to enjoy the work that I was doing, enjoy the business that I was building. And that comes from doing things that you want to do. Because when you work for someone else, it becomes a chore. But when you're building your own thing, I don't even class it as work. I class it as something I do for fun. Like this video I'm making right here. This is technically work because I will post this video onto the internet, and this video will bring me potential customers, potential, people that I want to work with, who want to work with me and join my community and learn how they can escape the 9-to-5 system for themselves. So there's many different ways you can make money. Like I said, personal branding, selling physical products. You can make money off YouTube. If you post enough videos, if you get good enough at creating content, YouTube will literally pay you money to post videos on their platform. And on the back end, you can create some sort of digital product, some sort of coaching offer, and then you can make even more money from the videos that you're posting. So how incredible is it that we live in a generation where we can make videos like this and make money, build a business off the back of it? It's just insane. This isn't what our parents had in their generation. Sure, they had other opportunities, like they had property. They had great opportunities in those sort of areas. But we don't have that same opportunity. The house prices at the moment and the mortgage rates make it really difficult for young people to purchase properties in England. So that opportunity where you could buy a house, do it up a little bit and sell it on for a huge profit doesn't really exist anymore. The new opportunity is social media, personal branding, and digital products. This won't be around forever, but right now there's a huge opportunity to leverage this for yourself and cash in big time by doing so. So if you're currently in a job and you don't enjoy it, you're constantly dreaming of a way out, asking how to even go about building a business in the first place, then I'd recommend getting yourself in my free community. We've got loads of videos in there, loads of training videos. We're doing support calls every week now. And this will give you a head start to start educating yourself, start learning the different business models that have worked for me to generate a lot of money online and replace my income many times over now. And you can start to learn these skills for yourself and start applying the skills. That's the most important bit. It's no good just watching content and reading and listening to stuff. You need to actually practice to learn, because you learn more from doing than reading and watching. That's where the real skills are built. You need to fail a number of times. You need to make mistakes. But every time you make a mistake, you come back that 1% better every time. And that's how you start to progress. That's how you actually evolve. So get yourself in the free community. Start learning how to do this for yourself. And if you want my help, just send me a DM inside the community and we can jump on a call and I can guide you through this. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.